Today I've got a question for you. Do you need some support setting up the prices for your life-changing services, for your life-changing offerings like your yoga sessions, your movement sessions, your retreats, your one-on-one, your group sessions, whatever yoga or wellness services you are offering right now? If you need some support on pricing them in a way that not only feels good to you, but also it's bringing you some revenue, just stay with me because we're gonna talk about all of that today in this video. If we haven't met yet, my name is Manu and I am a mentor for yoga, wellness practitioners and retreat leaders. And in this video, we are talking about pricing. And I know pricing can be a very difficult and complex subject. I understand that setting up the value for the fulfilling work that you do can be intimidating to say the least. So I'm here today, coffee in my hand, sitting with you, having a coffee. We're gonna talk about all of this in depth and I'm gonna give you my best resources to craft your best pricing. And I know pricing your offerings, it's difficult because if you look into the yoga world, for example, you get to see that there are so many different options. For example, if you look online, you have other yoga teachers teaching online live sessions on Zoom. You have online pre-recorded courses and classes. You have online pre-recorded workshops. Or if you look into the in-person, you will have one-on-one offerings, like private classes, you will have group classes, you can have retreats, you name it. There is so much offer out there. There is so much of a difference of a price range between one offering and the other offering, but also within the same offering, let's say, to say an example, online yoga classes, for instance, if you look in the internet, different teachers will have such a different range of prices. And that's one of the reasons that makes pricing so complex and difficult. Besides, I bet that when you did your teacher training, you were not taught how to price your offerings. And I think this is a downside of teacher trainings. And I know not every, especially nowadays, I know more and more yoga teacher trainings are incorporating the business and marketing side of the yoga into their trainings, which I think it's amazing because, for instance, for someone like me, when I did my teacher training, for me, I would see yoga as a professional path. But eventually I realized that there were so many crucial gaps in my knowledge when I started my journey as a solo wellnesspreneur. So I'm happy to see that more and more yoga teacher trainings are including business and marketing in their 200 hours training. But if you are watching this video, you likely come from a training where no one told you how much to charge for your offerings. So if this sounds like you, my friend, you are not alone because I have also experienced that and I'm here to help you today. When I started my yoga and wellnesspreneur journey, this was one of my biggest questions that I had. And to be honest, it took me a long time to realize how much I was going to charge for my services, considering that I wanted to teach one-on-one sessions and I also wanted to teach retreats. Sometimes I would do some group sessions, but the two main focus of my business were private sessions and retreats. I would talk with other yoga and wellness practitioners in the place that I was living, in my communities, and I would see different ranges of prices. But here's the thing. My experience and my background as a teacher was very different from the experience and the background from other teachers. So it was very hard for me to compare or to make the cost of my classes, the cost of my sessions, based on how much other teachers that were very different than me were charging. So those conversations always would give me some inspiration and they would help me to understand what was the price of the market in general, but eventually I knew that I would have to set up my own prices. Also because I was realizing that the market area where I was living back at the time, it was low price compared to the prices that I needed to make my business sustainable. So This took me a long time to understand, to process, and to really understand and embrace how much did I wanted to charge for my life-changing services. And yes, they were life-changing because this is what my clients told me, that what I was teaching them was so good. They would feel so good after my sessions. They would feel like their life transformed after my retreats. So, hey, they were telling me that they were getting so much from me. But at the same time, I had some limitations there. I have some fears to make a price that was a little bit higher than the market. So all of this was coming into the mix, when I was starting in this process. And maybe you can identify with this as well. If that is the case, if you feel like there is a little bit of conundrum in you when you are trying to figure out your pricing, let me know in the comments. I would be so happy to hear from you and what was your experience or what is your experience with pricing your services. I gotta say that it also took me to break down some patterns of self-limitations, of self-limiting beliefs, and also some patterns with money. But here's the thing, doing the work that I did, and this is the work that I'm gonna be sharing with you today, allow me to find clients who were willing to pay those high prices. And most importantly, they were getting really good benefits from my sessions. They were committed to take my sessions and they were getting a lot of value. So here are the things that I want to talk about today. First of all, we're going to talk about mindset. And what I'm going to share with you in this video are 5 key questions you should be asking yourself right now. If you don't know how much to price your offerings, you need to reflect, you need to ponder about these 5 questions that I'm going to be sharing with you today. And then in the second part of this video, I'm going to share with you 2 pricing exercises that I normally work with my clients when we work one-on-one with mentorship programs. And these 2 exercises really help them to estimate what is the price for their particular offerings. And these particular offerings for my clients, they range from yoga, fitness, astrology, family constellations, and they also range from group sessions, one-on-one sessions, in-person workshops, and retreats. By the way, if you are in the journey of starting to find your first one-on-one clients, I'm gonna leave a link to another video in the show notes that it's gonna help you with that. And if you are particularly watching this video for your retreat because you are working on the pricing for your retreat, I'm gonna leave the link to a podcast episode and a blog that will give you all of the information that you need to know in order to price your retreat. Okay, so ready? Let's dive in right now. So here's the first question that I want to share with you today. Consider that you are a very well-trained professional. You have invested a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of resources into your trainings. Basically, your lifestyle is a testament of the work that you do. Now, here is my question. Do your pricing reflect that commitment you have to what you teach? Take a moment, take a pause. Maybe you want to pause this video, you want to reflect about that, or maybe you want to take a notebook, write this question down, and then take some time after the video to reflect and to write your thoughts on this. Okay, let's move to the second question. And the second question may sound logic, but it's actually something that many people don't take into considerations. For example, let's say that you are a sound healer and that your sessions are 60 minutes long. And when you calculate the pricing for your session, you put a number out there, okay? Let's say that you say, okay, my session is gonna be 60 euro, for instance, just an example. Now, how do you set that price? In that price, I guess one of the things you are considering is how much would be your price for an hour as a practitioner, right? Okay, that could be an option to see that. But if that is the case, if you establish a price for yourself as a practitioner and say, okay, 60 minutes of my time, 1 hour of my time is gonna cost 60 euro. And therefore, a 60-minute session and 60-minute sound healing is gonna cost 60 euro. Okay, if you are doing that, maybe on the surface, it looks logic. But actually, if you dig a little bit more into that, that might not be the case. For example, if you are doing that sound healing session, it would not be just that hour that you are sitting there and you are playing with your ball or with your instruments. It's the time that it takes you to go to the place where you're gonna be setting up the sound healing session. It's the setting up of the space. And it's the time that it takes you to take off all of your instruments and to, leave the space in the same condition that you found it. I'm just setting up an example to tell you that a 60-minute session, it's never 60 minutes. And this is for an example, sound healing 60-minute session in person. But it happens the same with anything. And for instance, if you are working online, let's say that you are doing one-on-one online sessions, you would be like, okay, I just need to jump into Zoom and teach my 60 minutes. But it's never like that. It always takes you time for preparation, time for setting up yourself, time for preparing the class. How important, especially if it's a one-on-one session, you are just not gonna jump into the class and teach your client whatever. You always need to have a process from beginning to end, like from the first class, what are the goals your client is looking for, and therefore you're gonna have like a program, personalized program that it's gonna take time for you to prepare. So again, even an online one-on-one session, it's never gonna be, if it's a 60 minutes, it's never gonna be 60 minutes. There is always more involved. Another thing that you could take into considerations are traveling costs, if you are moving to your client's home, or some materials that you might use for your sessions. Maybe you use some special oils or you use something that is specific for that session. All of these costs need to be accounted for. So my question for you here would be, are you including these costs in your pricing? Feel free to pause this video to reflect about that. Feel free to take a note in your notebook and then reflect about that later. Whatever way works for you, this is an important question that you want to ask yourself when you are setting up your prices. Really calculate those costs, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense for you, financially speaking, obviously. Okay, let's go to my question number 3. And first, allow me to give you a little bit of context, because you and I know that your clients, your students really love you and really get the best benefits from your classes, from your sessions, when you eat well, when you rest well, when you practice daily, when you are nurtured. This is very important. Your clients are gonna get the best of you when you have this lifestyle, when you have time enough to keep learning, to be nurtured, and to rest, basically. Now, if you are having very low prices, it's gonna be very hard for you to live that lifestyle. So my next question for you would be, do your prices allow you to have the lifestyle that will serve your clients the best? Something you really need to reflect. Again, your call. Feel free to pause this video and take your notes or take your notes later. Okay, let's talk about the next point number 4 and question number 4 that I want to share with you today. And here is the premise for this part. This is something that actually blew my mind when I heard this concept for the first time, but actually I knew, of course, and I'm sure you know this as well, but for some reason I never stopped to think about this. And here's the thing, here's the premise. Often, products and services in the market, and that would include your offerings, your life-changing offerings, often they are not priced by the purpose of the object or the service itself, but rather they are priced by the perceived value, from the customer. I'm gonna give you a simple example, and this is the example that I've heard many years ago, and maybe you have heard this example before. I know it's a very stereotypical one, but it will serve for the purpose of this context. How much a handbag costs? And of course, you're going to tell me, Manu, a handbag can cost anything. It could cost from €3 if you buy them in the super cheap bazaar, or you could go to the Louis Vuitton shop and spend €2,000. So you see, the range of pricing here is huge. But at the end, the purpose of the object, of the handbag, is the same. So you basically use a handbag to carry your keys, to carry your makeup, to carry whatever you want to carry in there, your bottle of water, whatever, your telephone. And you can do that in a bag of €3, or you can do that in a bag of €3,000. At the end, the purpose of the object in this case is the same purpose, but the price is so different. So this is something that I'm sure you know, but if you reflect about that, it actually blows your mind. Anyway, at least to me, it really blew my mind when I started to reflect about that a little bit more deeper. So here, marketing plays like a huge role. I think marketing is everything in here. People who buy the bag of €3,000 versus the bag of €2 or €3, what they are buying is not the bag itself, but it's the feeling, it's the emotion of having that bag. And this is all made through the marketing. Now, I love talking about marketing, and my approach to marketing is actually not to fool people. I don't want you to lie to people telling them that they're gonna get, after they take your classes. But in my experience working with loads and loads of yoga and wellness practitioners, what I see, the pattern that I see is that you may not know, you may not have the tools to really showcase the value of what you are offering. All right, my friend, the marketing process is a process that takes time, and communicating the value of your offerings is something that definitely takes time and reflection and so on. Now, how could you showcase that value through your communication, through your marketing material? How can you tell those people who are the ones that are going to benefit most from your offerings? How can you show them that the offering that you have, this could be any life-changing service that you're offering, how can you communicate that value and then set a price for your offering that reflects that value? Again, something to reflect upon. You know what to do now. The fifth point that I want to touch with you today, it's about pricing your services too low. And I know sometimes, especially yoga teachers, I've seen that they want to price their offerings very low so that they can be very inclusive and that anyone can take their classes. And by any means, if teaching yoga is not part of a business, if it's not a business for you, if it's something that you do it because it's something that you do just because you want and you don't depend on this financially, by any means, go and price your offerings in a way that anyone can come to your classes. But if you are trying to make a business, and there is nothing wrong with that, there's nothing wrong with wanting to make a living of your life-changing offerings, if that is your case, my friend, then you really need to be strategic when you price your services. And the main reason is that because if you price them too low, this is going to destroy the sustainability of your business and your sustainability of yourself as the main teacher in your business. You cannot be teaching for a very long time if you depend financially on your teachings at a very low price point. So my question for you here, are you happy with your prices right now? And do you feel in charge and confident of changing your prices right now if you would have to? Oops, I got a notification. Okay, if the answer is yes, of course, you don't have to be here watching this video because you don't have any price problem. But if the answer is, I'm not sure, I feel like I want to rise my prices a little bit, but I feel intimidated, I don't know how to do, I don't know what are the steps that I'm gonna take. Okay, so then let's dive into the second part of this video where I'm gonna share with you the 2 exercises that I work with my one-on-one mentorship clients so that you can apply that for you and you can figure out the pricing for your offerings. Finally, oh my gosh, I'm gonna silence that, excuse me. Okay, so let's start with the first exercise. The first exercise, I like you to do a little bit of market research. I like you to go ahead and see what other professionals in your area, let's say if you are a personal trainer, see what other personal trainers, like kind of with similar experience with you, similar teaching, you know, perhaps if you are doing in-person sessions within your area, see how much those people are charging for, let's say, a 60-minute session. Compare to your 60 minutes. Not only look at people in your same sector, so as I say, if you are a personal trainer, other personal trainers, but also look at other industries, similar sectors around you. For example, you would also want to look psychotherapists, yoga teacher, physiotherapists. See how much all of these people are charging for a 60-minute session. Try to find an estimated price, kind of midpoint price between what they are charging, and then compare that with your 60-minute session. Now, when you find out that number, if your price right now it's lower than that number, you know what you're gonna do. Yes, you're gonna increase your price. You're gonna increase your price so that your pricing at least matches the average market price. Now, let's say that the price that you already have, it's already in line with other professionals within your industry and within similar industry. But still, you know that this price is not sustainable for you. You know, or you feel that you need to increase your pricing to showcase the value of your offerings. For whatever reason, you want to increase that price. Okay, so here is the next thing that you would need to do. I'm gonna teach you an exercise that one of my coaches taught me a long time ago. This exercise is about finding the middle point between your current price. How much are you charging right now, let's say for a 60 minutes one-on-one session, which is the price you feel probably comfortable right now. It's a price that, yeah, you know, people are paying you that money because maybe it's within the market range, or maybe it's even a little bit higher, but you kind of feel comfortable in there because you know that you have sold a lot of classes in that number. So you need to find the middle point between that price, and then over here there is your scary price. You're gonna think about that price where you would be like, oof, I know maybe someone out there is charging those prices, but you feel like, oof, it's just a little bit too much. It feels scary to think about that number. So you have your comfortable price, the price that you are charging right now, and then you have, on the other hand, you have the super, you feel uncomfortable to think about that you're gonna be charging that price for a 60-minute session. Okay, so let's say that your 60-minute session at your comfortable price is 100 euro, and your uncomfortable price, your sweaty hands price for a 60-minute session would be a 400 euro. All right, so here's the exercise for you, my friend. Find those two numbers, comfortable price, uncomfortable or scary price, and then I want you to find a price in between. Maybe you want to find a place in between, like 250, and I want you to start there and see how things go. I don't want you to go all the way to the 400 scary price, because that is gonna put you in an uncomfortable situation, and that's gonna show up when you share the pricing with your clients. But I also want you to push you a little bit. I want to take you out of your comfort zone just a little bit, just the right amount, so that you find a price, you increase the price in a way that feels better. Try that, let me know how it goes, and I hope this really helps you to not only take you out of your comfort zone, but also allows you to have a pricing that nurture yourself and nurture your business. Okay, my friend, I really hope this was helpful, and if so, please let me know in the comments. I'm always super happy to hear from you. You can always find me also on Instagram as Manu Yoga Biz Mentor. You can find my website yogabizmentor.com too for so many other resources. You can listen to my podcast Zenpreneur, available in Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Reach out, let me know how this worked for you. And if you found this video valuable, I would be super grateful if you can share it on social media or share it with a friend. And feel free to tag me on Facebook, on Instagram. I would be super happy to connect with you. That's all for today, my friend. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, my friend, thank you so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this video. And hey, if you would like to work on your business together with a group of heart-centered entrepreneurs in one of the most beautiful places in the world, come join me to my upcoming Zenpreneur Biz Bootcamp. This is going to happen at Samahita Retreat, which is a place that I know, and even I know it so much because I even work there, and I ran my first retreat. It's a place that once you're there, you're gonna fall in love, and I'm sure you're gonna want to run your upcoming retreats in that place as well. So in this bootcamp, we're gonna be, morning times are going to be for mindset activities. Among those mindset activities, we will have silent cycle. Sometimes we're gonna have some meditation, silence morning walk to the nearby temple, and some other activities. Then after the breakfast, we do our daily mastermind, focusing exclusively on your business and the things that you need to focus on at each step of your business. That's gonna be the morning mastermind, pack of value, full of incredible things, and I'm sure you're gonna love it. Then the afternoons are gonna be for chilling and relax. We do have, within your package, you will have 3 massages included already in the package, and usually the afternoons are going to be more for rest, but also some experiential activities. Even one of the days on Wednesday, we do have an excursion included already to the Samui Elephant Rescue. And within the package, there is also a donation. Some of the funds that we collect from this bootcamp, some of those funds are gonna go for this foundation, the Elephant Rescue. And so by participating in this bootcamp, you are also contributing to responsible tourism. Anyway, I really would love to have you there. I know this is going to be epic. I really, I am super in love with Thailand, and of course with Samahita Retreats. For me, it really means a place that really helped me grow in my evolution as a human being, not only from a professional perspective and business perspective, but also from a spiritual perspective. And I would love for you to experience the same. Really, I'm super excited about this, and I would be really happy to have you with us. So all of the information is in the description of this video, whatever you're watching. And if you don't find the links, please reach out to me. You can reach out to me. I'm Yoga Biz Mentor. You can find my website, all of my social media. So feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to send you the links and even to have a phone call if you have some questions about this trip. All right, I hope this was helpful. And again, take care, my friend. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.